Hi everyone, welcome back. This is 90 and 91 days of using my prints. I'm very close to 100. It's so exciting. Today I'm using paper from a paper pad I have from Fabriano. It's a mixed media pad. The paper is 250 GSM and it's acid free because I'm hoping to frame these depending on how they turn out. But I just came in my room and I wanted to paint, so I had my spatula and I'm just applying the paint with it, because how I work is I just start and then that leads to another idea, which leads to another idea, and that's how I paint. So I'm just dragging the paint along, spreading it, trying to intermingle the colors, but as well as keep it separate because I want to see the colors. And I am using focal points that I made yesterday, which was made by collaging my prints and cutting them out into different shapes. So I'm going to use those as focal points today. So excited! So very excited about it. All of my paints are acrylic paints. I use different brands, whatever I could get my hands on at the time. I use Marie's Art Advantage, Deco Art, Sargent. So whatever I could get my hands on that I could afford. I've actually recently started buying Art Advantage, like one tube at a time. Yeah, whatever I could get. So every month if I could get 2 of those, I'll buy 2. And so I'm building my stash slowly but surely, but it's building, which is pretty cool. So this is one of the focal points that I have that I'm going to use. And I'm also going to use another lady. I'm just trying to figure out which part I'm going to put her on and which, if it's landscape or portrait. I forget what you call that. Orientation. Yeah. The words. So I decided I'm going to put her here, and this one is going to go on that page. So I'm just adjusting the colors around them to suit their positions at this time. I decided to add some dark blue to match them because they have blue on them. So even though I'm doing this side by side and it seems to be similar, I also want to, it's similar, but obviously I want to make it different. So I don't recall actually using my spatula like this, but I'm dipping it in the water to spread the paint instead of using the brush. I found that was pretty cool, and it was fun actually to do it. And it gives different kinds of marks, which I really like. So I most likely will be using this again once I remember. Because sometimes when you sit down to do a different project, different ideas come to mind and you forget that you wanted to try this. So one of my goals is to make is it not a vision board? An art board. Inspiration board. I think they have different names. But I want to make one and stick it up. I think mine might be really big because I have some ideas of what I want to put on it already. But I also have a little notebook that I've started writing little ideas down. Problem is, when I come to do art, I don't bring it with me. It stays in my bag. Because if I bring it in the art room, I might leave it there. And then when I need it in my bag, it's not there. So you see, I have a little problem, don't I? So I'm just using my plastic card to make some marks now on the background of this page. This is black acrylic paint. I was thinking of using blue, but I thought the black is already there, so I'll just use the black. And I kept thinking this page is really busy and my focal point is really busy. So I was wondering, while I was doing all of this, I was thinking, how am I going to get it down? Because I really wanted to use them. How am I going to put them down so that they're still visible? So this is my attempt of making it visible, giving it a little outline. And I found that, it looked cool, but it wasn't enough. So I took a break from that and I'm using some, I think it's crocus bark material to give it some weight down at the bottom there, so she'll have something to stand on. And I also found a green piece of cardstock. I'm going to use that as well. And I did some research to find out when iCard is starting, and it's starting on the 1st of June, which is just now. I'm not ready. I'm excited about it, but I'm so not ready. Oh my, well, meaning mentally. That's what I mean. I have to look for my cards. I kind of not sure where they are. I may have to buy some, but I'm not ready. Oh my gosh. So this is a Posca pen I'm using to give her an outline, because as I said, the background is really busy. And this is a piece of paper that I stitched. That piece of cloth is a triangle bandage that I coffee dyed. And the paper is coffee dyed paper that I stitched on. I just had a couple strips and I just stitched on all of them, so I would have them. And here I'm going to use some thread as well, because it just felt like, my mind just said thread. And I was like, yes, great. So I'm going to use some thread just on that little corner right there, just because it felt like it should have some thread. And I'm going to use some white as well to highlight it, because it looks really dark, but I just love how it looks. I love it. It still looks really busy, so I'm going to try and work on that as well. But yes, as I was saying, iCard is starting, so I have to organize my cards. I have to look for it and get it all together. And I can't believe, honestly, that I'm making it, because I really plan to finish the 100 days. So I found this black sheet of shiny paper. It's so sparkly and nice, and it's kind of smooth, like not glossy, but it reminds me of silk. It's really nice. And I decided to use that as her background to help her to pop, because the page's so busy. Gabby said she likes this one better than the one on the right. I guess because of the outline. I don't know. Or maybe the shape of, I don't know. But she likes that page, but the left side, the one I'm working on now, she likes that one better. So anyway, I said I wasn't going to ask her anymore, because she always gives me such low points. I ask her to rate them out of 10, and she always gives me such low points. But I still asked her. Anyways. Right, so I forgot what I was saying about iCard. I think it was ideas, right? So I'm happy. I can't believe that I made it through I am making it through the 100 days, because I remember at the beginning I was thinking, how am I going to make, to get ideas for 100 days, But I did. I'm doing it, I should say. So I was going to use a Posca pen to make those marks. I tried, but it wasn't working out. It wasn't turning out the way I wanted, so I just ended up using the card instead to make some white marks along with the black. And then switching back to iCard now, and now I'm thinking, am I going to be able to come up with things to do for all those cards? But I am taking up the challenge because I want to stay, creative, and I know for me, the more I create, the more ideas I get. At the same time, I'm hoping that I don't get burnt out. You know what I mean? So I'm going to try to do one every day, but if not, you'll see it in the same batches of 4 or batches of 6, like I was doing with these 100 days. And that's fine. I think that's fine as long as I'm creating. But I really do enjoy creating in sets. It's how I used to do it before I started to film. And I don't know, I don't know what it does for me, but I really enjoy doing it in sets. Because I used to do like 2 or 3 separate pieces at the same time, and this was before I had my heat gun. So I would work on one project, put that aside to dry, and then work on something else completely different, put that aside to dry. And so I'd be switching, going in between all 3 different projects, yeah. before I even dreamed of going on YouTube. So, yes! So much fun. So honestly, these 2 pages were a lot of fun for me because it was something that these days, coming down to the end of this, I kind of gotten fed up of using my prints, to be honest. I think I told you all I'm tired using the same papers all the time. And this is why now I made the collage with those. And I think I'm going to make some more. So I'm sticking my papers down now. My mistake here is not spreading the glue and, spreading it flat. So I'm just applying the glue and then sticking it. I should have used my finger at least to smoothen it out before sticking it down, because it's stuck with kind of bumpy, which I don't like. Even though I did this, it's still not smooth. So note to self, Gina, remember to smooth that glue out before you stick stuff down. Yeah, my sponge fell in the paint. That's okay. I think this time it's time to throw this away and move on to another sponge. I think I've cut it down quite enough. Right, so now to go on to the other side and try to fix her and help her stand out, because she's really disappearing in that background. But I'm liking the base. I am liking the base. I was trying to decide, I took a while trying to decide what to do, how to do it. And yeah, I had to cut down a lot of my thinking time. I'm straightening that edge because it was frayed. And I think for this one I decided to have just straight edges on my base. I'm still wondering what to do. I have no clue. I never even realized that I would tap my finger when I was thinking. So for some reason I decided to make some marks coming down on the ends here. I don't know why I did that. I just thought it would be cool, so I did it. And I kind of liked it. I'm just trying to stagger them now instead of having all looking so even. And I didn't want them to be too spacey looking either. So back to iCAD. Who's doing iCAD this year? Who's going to try? Even if you do one a week, you don't have to do one every day. But I think it's cool because it's a small surface and, it's just about getting creative on a small surface and hopefully for a short amount of time. So even with this one, I'm thinking if you try to do it every day, Gina, maybe you could challenge yourself to create it in maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15. I know I'm going to keep going up, but maybe 15, without speeding it up. I don't know. But if I do that, then I could probably do it in the mornings before I go to work. Because really and truly, it does give me a nice little booster. Yeah, it makes me feel happy. Creating makes me feel really happy. And I pray about it because I don't want to make it my God, my idol. Because art is always on my mind. It's always on my mind. So even though I have her head as the focal point, I just pulled him and I was thinking, I want him inside of her. But then obviously he wasn't standing out at all. So I found this card that I had put excess paint on years ago. So I'm going to use this instead as for him and cut him out. So instead of the blue guy, he's going to be the pink guy. Ta-da! Yes, that looks so cool. So I try not to think too much about this because I like people to have their own ideas when it comes to abstract art. So my idea for this is he's on her mind. He's in her thoughts. He's a big part of her in whatever way. Could be in a good way, could be in a bad way. Because, people have negative thoughts, negative experiences. But he's on her mind. and they're connected. So that was my idea for this piece on the right. I thought about putting words as well, but as I said, I didn't want to pigeonhole it and just put it in a box for people. I wanted people to have their own experience with the piece, if you know what I mean. What I'm doing here is outlining the area because I want to do some Islamic writing around her, but I didn't want to stick her down first and do it. So I just did a pencil outline so that I know where she's going to be, and I did the Islamic writing around the pencil outline. However, the page is basically yellow, which is a light color, and then I did white, which is a light color. So I honestly don't know if I'm going to leave it like this or if I'm going to adjust at some point. I don't know. This one on the right is it's like I like it and I don't at the same time. I need to do some edits, but I don't know. You all let me know at the end what you think. And which one you prefer. Which one you like most and like least. But I really like this one on the right, but I feel like I need to make a couple changes to it. But you know, when you do something and then you're afraid to touch it because you think you might spoil it, that happens too. So I'm just working out that space there. It was hard for me to find the pencil as well. I had to struggle there, but it's fine. And then when I put her back, somehow the writing didn't match up with her edges as I thought it would. It was so strange. So I'm going to stick her down as well. Because I use watercolor paper to do my collage on, which is the two ladies, the paper is nice and thick, which I like. And that's why I did it on a watercolor paper, because I wanted it to be nice and thick so that when I stick them down on whatever surface, they wouldn't bend and buckle and look all lumpy. So I'm trying to just make a couple adjustments and trying to get her stuck as flat as possible. I don't know if later on I might add a word or two, but this is her. Because sometimes, if you don't add your word, when someone else looks at it, it connects with them on a personal level because they have their own experience with it without the word influencing them. So that's why I chose not to add a word. I know for also my iCards I usually add words, well, for most of them, so I don't know if this year I'll be doing that. I probably would. So we'll see. I don't know, that is good because I don't ever plan it and I always find words to go with them. So we'll see how it goes. I'm so excited. I'm excited. Excited. Because I didn't realize it was the 1st of June already. Oh, it's like tomorrow. Well, the day after. It's crazy. So I'm helping this little guy stand out as well. Just giving him a nice little white outline. Trying not to do too much. And that's where I decided to stop. So I might come back in and do maybe black Islamic writing around her. I don't know. I feel like I want to give her a white outline as well, So I may do some additions to the one on the right. But I love it. I really, really like it. I do. I like the both of them a lot. I had some issues ripping off this paper. I think maybe I wasn't taking my time. So parts of the paper got ripped up, but that's okay. But this is basically my pages today. I hope you enjoyed the process. I was happy to use my my papers. So this is how I use my papers today in this one. I used the cutouts that I did from the previous video. And it was fun. I enjoyed it and I can't wait to use the other cutouts that I did. Of course, some of them I will definitely be using in my iCard videos. Of course. And as I said before, I'm going to make more. I am, because I need to use up my papers. And I enjoy, I really like them. They're so cool. So thank you so much for watching. It was fun. I had a good time. And I will see you in my next video, which I hope will be sooner rather than later. Bye, everyone.